Somebody's hanging out with mommy tonight.
Nice. Is that a reward or a punishment?
Whatever it needs to
Depends who
be.
you ask. Yeah.
Yes, she needed some space. But happy Sunday, everybody. Happy Sunday before Christmas.
Tell you, I don't know where. I was going to say December, but I don't know where this year went.
I can't believe it's almost 2026.
I know.
It really is crazy. So,
Yeah.
do you like my bow?
Is there a correct answer?
I got a gift from one of my students tonight, and it had this pretty bow, so I immediately put it in my hair, much to her delight, I
Here's
hope.
my question: was the bow the gift?
No, but I was pretty excited about it.
Okay. Then
So,
I love it. I'm super happy that you're recycling what was not intended as a hairpiece into a hairpiece.
I might wear it the rest of the week. We'll see what happens.
Okay.
So, so we're definitely zooming toward the end of the year. Um, I'd like to make a note that that sound you're hearing is Nala is sniffing a tambourine. And no, that's not a euphemism for anything.
Well, my dog was sniffing a tambourine, if you know what I
You know what
mean.
I'm saying? But we are careening toward the end of the year, and Mo and I, as many of you know, I'm sure, are part of a cohort of people that we are all speakers, business owners, big thinkers. We collaborate on things. And one of the things that we do in this cohort that is called Master Circle every year is that we name our year. And let's talk a little bit about what we named 2025. I think we've referred to it before, but
Yeah.
I'm
Well, I
proud
think
of you because this was not an easy thing for
it
you
was
to do.
not. It was not. But I will say, it's funny. I was having breakfast. I was having lunch with somebody yesterday, and I was like, oh, do you guys make resolutions? No. Like, do you name your year? And they're like, what do you mean name my year? It's
Fred.
funny how when you are mentored to do something and it
Yeah.
becomes a normal part of your routine, like, what do you mean you don't name your year? Hello, this is my year, Bob. But so yeah, so 2025, I think you and I had different names for our years,
We did.
right? But
Yeah, we
so
did.
for me, 2025, the name of my year was Crock-Pot
Ooh.
because I love to cook and
No.
well, I named it Crock-Pot and it was because you had made up this metaphor for me of, you know, I if it would between the two of us, I am the microwave and you're the Crock-Pot in viewpoints in that. And I love this analogy of, or is it a metaphor? This is why I call them metaphor analogies because I
Analogy.
don't know. Yeah, but when you take a hot pocket and you put it in the microwave and you nuke it for I don't know what 17 minutes. I don't know how to cook. So, but it's like
That's
scalding
your
hot.
first mistake.
I used to heat up hot dogs in the microwave and I wouldn't set a timer. Just like when I hear it, boom,
Explode.
it's done. But when you nuke something in the microwave, it's usually hot on the outside and still frozen in the inside. And then you brought up another quality about the caliber of the calories, the caloric caliber, the caliber of the qualities. Say that one time fast.
Wow.
But the caliber of the food that you're eating is not usually a typically high quality food. It's not nourishing. It's not sustained. It's like blah blah blah. Whereas a crock pot, you're taking a lot of ingredients and you're just kind of mixing and matching, but they have to work together and they need time.
Yep.
That is hard for me
I
because I
know.
want the hot pocket. I want the high quality chili quickly.
What did our friend Helena say? You're not impatient, but you're not patient, or something like that.
You're, you're not, it was like a triple
You're
negative.
not patient.
You're not,
Something like that.
yes, anyway, you're
So
not,
this has been the year of the
anyway,
crock pot. So we have been slow simmering
what was yours?
our ingredients. This year, my word was to get over the break wall. Is
Mhm.
that break wave wall? Whatever it is.
Break wall. Yeah.
Because we've been working really hard on, and we have our business, you have your business, I have my business. So we're working three Venn diagrams of businesses concurrently. You can sit here with me if you want to, Naughty Bear. Um, and there's a lot of overlap, but just to get over, like you make some progress forward and then the wave pushes you back and then forward. So it was to get over that
Yeah.
and conquer some things and make some real progress. And I feel like we did that. We've had a really good year.
Yeah, well, I think I've named my years in the past, and a lot of times it was like also because I'm a slow learner. It's like if I had grasped onto this concept and realized, but when naming the year Crockpot, it became a filter for a lot of things,
Mm,
mostly my impatience or my lack of not being not impatient. But a lot of
that's
times
good.
it'd be like, okay, this is a long game thing, and so
Yeah.
you have to let this year more than ever
Yeah.
naming the year really became a filter for me for like how I viewed things and how it did make me more patient in a way, maybe outwardly, but
I think you're more patient. I think you have, what I've noticed is that you have more of an appreciation for the process
yeah,
and why it's important.
yeah,
Like understanding that when something takes a while, and I mean, my gosh, we can draw parallels to like 100 different things, and I of
mhm,
course think about everything in vocal training because that's my world,
yeah,
but like how I will often tell people that I work with that your voice, very rarely will you notice a difference in your voice over the course of
yeah,
1 hour or even 1 week.
hmm,
It takes not just even weeks but months and years to see sustainable change.
yeah,
And I would rather offer that kind of change to people than a quick fix. And there
yeah,
are some like quick little tricks you can do, but like the real development, building the foundation and stuff comes over a year. It's like losing weight. It's like it's better to lose weight, 1 or 2 pounds over a smaller course of time than it is to like,
lose an arm, yeah.
well, that's one option. But yeah, the crock pot thing has become a really nice plumb line for us this year as we've worked on
Yeah.
our stuff. So,
Well, and I think again going back to the caliber, and you and I have talked about who was the lady Candace Payne with the Chewbacca mask.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
And like she rose to fame over one incident where, and it was hilarious, it was
yeah,
funny, but I couldn't tell you what she's doing right now,
yeah.
right? Because that was like kind of like a peak thing versus somebody. And I'm just going to bring up Taylor Swift because I just watched episode 1 of the documentary, and most people know who she is, and the Chiefs played recently. So anyway,
Yeah.
but I always get like it's almost like I want the Chewbacca and the Taylor Swift level of notoriety or impact. I'm just going to say.
Yeah.
Um, but when I look at the Chewbacca thing, it was kind of like a one off. But I look at Taylor Swift, and she's been hustling, and she's been humping, and she's been probably fighting that break wall when labels didn't want to sign her, right? And
Yep. Yep.
again, it is a long game. It's sometimes it's a decades long game, just like you were talking about. And I look about even in our business when we first started, I think we thought we wanted to be just entertainers, and we have slowly figured out that we want to be primarily MCs, and I think we've also gotten confused in is it the how we do or the what we do? And so it's like, okay, we are MCs,
Yeah.
and the how we do it is our unique way of how
Yeah.
we do things.
Absolutely.
But even that's taken some patience and some crockpot
It has.
warming time. So
It's taken some troubleshooting and it's taken some, I mean, we've had a lot of long heart to heart discussions about
yeah,
what each of us think, because if we're not on the same page, we're not going to be going anywhere successfully anyway.
yeah.
So,
Oh, so
and no, go
oh,
ahead.
no, I was going to switch topics, but go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I'm really proud. I'm really proud of us, Moe, because we are both in the second act. A lot of people have heard our story. When we met each other, you had just retired,
Hmm.
and my youngest son had just graduated from high school. So that's a big yawn. I was just entering a new phase of my life because I've been a parent for, 30 years, and you've been in the military for almost 30 years. And
Yeah,
so we both met each other at a time when we were open and ready for something new.
yeah,
And on paper, it didn't make any sense how you and I would become a duo. But here we are living the dream, right?
yeah, yeah,
But I'm just, we're working very hard on this. It's not um, I mean, my gosh, we have fun, but it's but it's not just a hobby thing to us. If we
yeah,
really do want to be able to make an impact and make a difference in the industry of emceeing, but also also entertaining people and making people feel schwacked and creating, moments, which we'll talk about next. So,
Well, I was going to talk about my launching off point was going to be, um, and remind me. I want to tell you a story that happened at lunch today, but
okay.
um, I haven't even thought about it, like how to tell it in my head, but there's a lesson in there. There always is. Um, but I was going to talk about like we haven't always seen eye to eye. We've had to
Mhm.
have some usually butcher paper infused conversations. But I was recently thinking about the full stop moment, which you and I are just going full bore in full speed into the full stop, which sounds like it's an accident waiting to happen. Um, but you and I, so you and I talk about the full stop and for us, for both of us, we've agreed that the full stop means pausing with intention or
Yep.
having a purpose for why we're stopping. And I think there's a lot of there's a lot of ways we can explain it. And I was fascinated because I did a post and I saw a couple friends commented, and it was interesting because the two people don't know each other, but the one person commented how somebody stopped, made a full stop, and commented on her hair. And she says, I don't always feel confident about my hair, but that
Yeah.
compliment made a difference. And then, like, three comments down was another friend of mine who said that whenever she's in a store, if she sees something, she will make a point to comment on someone's clothing or hair or something. It was just an interesting thing
That's
that
cool.
was, but just like that comment, one was receiver and one was the full stopper. You and I haven't always agreed on what the full stop actually looks like. And I think that's the beauty of it is that I'll let you explain your standpoint, your viewpoint of what the full stop is.
So, and just spoiler alert, for this coming year, we've chosen full stop as our word. That's our word for the year. Is we are again moving full force so we can stop. Uh, I am. So to me, full stop is the moment that you are out going about routine, you are experiencing whatever, monotony, the same thing that you're doing over and over again, and you observe something happening that makes you pause and realize that someone just went out of their way to be a really good human to somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
And in that moment made them feel valued, made them feel, and again, you all know we use the acronym SHUAC, made them feel seen, heard, understand, appreciated, and connected by something that they did. And so, and the thing is, there are people out there being kind to each other all the time. And those moments can happen and go by. But I think it's really amazing when you get to witness something like that happening. And I think it's even more amazing when you can go up to that person that was a good human and say, "Hey, I love what you just did. Thank you
Yeah.
for making somebody else feel that way." And you are making a full stop in whatever you're in the middle of doing because they decided to make a full stop. And so it's this big chain reaction of full stops. They decided to disrupt the norm by saying something or doing something nice, holding open a door or giving someone a compliment. So it's the recognition. To me, the full stop is that moment where you recognize that somebody was an amazing human and made someone else feel like they matter.
So for you, so no, now we're getting this philosophical conversation that we just had last Friday. But
Yeah.
so to you, the full stop is you are being full stopped by another interaction that you are not involved in except for as an observer
Yes.
all the time, or is do you?
No, I think it can look like other things too, but to
Okay,
me that's the first thing that comes to my mind
okay.
is when I see somebody who makes a difference, I'm going to be intentional about letting them know that they made me stop in my tracks to observe that and that I appreciate what they did because people don't always get to hear
Right.
like they don't get
So,
appreciated for that.
so let me ask you another question then. So, the incident that you observed with the barista,
Mm.
um, full stopping and interacting with, how did observing that interaction, it impacted you in one way in that you felt compelled to tell the barista that you noticed
Yeah.
that you saw him schwacking and it impacted you. But what happens after you tell that barista and you tell the story? But how else does that observation of a full stop moment impact you?
Well, part of the reason we have the well, okay. I was going to answer a question, but it wasn't the question you're answering, so
Yeah,
that's not.
so answer the question I asked, maybe. I don't know.
I I think it, I mean, on a big picture level, it restores your faith in humanity a little bit because you hear all these awful things. So like I'm realizing there are people that are still trying to be good to other people. And my hope in being able to give him, two SHUAC cards and say, this is because you made someone feel schwacked. Look at you being more prepared than me. And please go out and notice when somebody else is doing that and give them this SHUAC card. So it's like a paying it forward kind of thing.
So, okay, so I'm looking at like this concentric circle, right? So there's this incident in the middle where somebody is full stopping for somebody else for some interaction.
Yeah.
So there's at least two people involved.
Yeah.
And you're on the outside looking in like that.
Yeah.
My hope would be with an observer of an interaction is
Yeah.
that you would then go and become the main circle that somebody else can observe, like that you would become part of an interaction. And I know that there's a situation where these two people are involved, they have an interaction, you observe, you become a new circle for this
Yeah.
guy because that barista might gone and said something else. But my hope is also that outside of that interaction, so there's essentially three people involved, right? The
Yeah.
barista, the customer, and then the observer, but that you could then take inspiration from that and create another full stop moment with a whole new, set of people. Because the way I look at the full stop is more in the active, in the more accurate way is the more.
There we go.
No. But I look at it again, but it actually helps me because I look at it as more of how can I be one of those two people? Like, I
Yeah.
think the observation part is important, but it's also when you observe something like that, I want the impact to be that it motivates you and inspires you to go then be
Yeah.
to cause another full stop moment somewhere else.
Yeah.
To take that same energy and inspiration, or and again, you always, like you said, it's super easy. Sometimes it's just eye contact. We're not talking about like a grand gesture and buying a hot air balloon ride for somebody over the Serengeti, like,
What?
yeah.
Ruined your Christmas.
Mm. but but I just kind of look at things like how can you again, it's simple. Like the story that I wrote about was we were leaving Costco and the guy in front of us, well, the family in front of us was a mom and a little girl, and the guy was checking the receipt. I don't know what they're looking at, but he makes the receipt, but then he flips it over, and I remember thinking, huh, I didn't know that Costco. I thought you just got a longer receipt. I didn't realize there was something printed on the back, which obviously they don't. It wasn't a rational thought, and then I realized he was drawing a picture for the little girl. But I just thought it was cool that he. And, it took an extra 2 seconds, but there are some impatient. I'm impatient, but not that impatient. But when I watched him flip it over, he drew something, and then instead of handing the receipt to the mother, handed it to the kid, and she just and that no words were said. They kept walking. I did bump him with my cart a little bit because it had been 2 seconds, and who's got that kind of time? So they moved on, and I watched the little girl, like she was looking at the drawing, talking to her mom, like they were impacted by that, and I loved watching that. And it was like, okay, so that's something I could do, right? The next time I
Yeah.
get a receipt,
Yeah.
I could write a note, or I can draw a phallic penis picture. I don't know what he drew for
Oh
her,
my gosh.
but I love it's like it's not that hard, and it's like that moment, that full stop can last a second. It can last 2 seconds. That's it. And then the ripples outward are you and I talking about it. I wrote a blog about it. The little girl and the little and one of the things that I think that I love that we say a lot is be the story that someone tells over drinks later
Yeah.
or over
Yeah.
dinner later,
Yeah.
right?
And it's funny because I posted something too from my world, and about I had a student who came in this week who literally had just got braces that morning,
Mm,
and was couldn't pronounce her s's correctly, and all, she was
yikes.
just feeling it. And I could have like, come on, just sing, it's a strong arm
Power
through, you
through.
got this. But it just, we had to take a moment and acknowledge, like, okay, this feels weird, this just feels weird, let's just take a moment and sit with it, we're going to try this is a safe place. So like, just it is so in its essence schwacking. It is so
Yeah.
seeing someone and meeting them exactly where they are. And I mean, that's really it. And we get so busy with our own ideas or our own schedule that we don't take the time to do that. So I think that is why this movement is so timely and so important. I mean, we both really, really passionately believe in this.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like too, and not that braces and suicidal ideation are the same thing. I get that they are not.
True.
But you know, you've helped me a lot of times, and then when I feel not braces, when I feel pretty, poo, you always say that's a full stop. You create a full stop movement. You're like, okay, feel the suck. We got to sit in the suck for a little bit, and you're always good about I'm going to sit there with you, and we're just going to sit there until it doesn't suck anymore, or it
Yeah.
sucks less, or you get braces. But I think that that full stop moment of just saying, all right, let's sit and let's just name it, let's recognize it, and yeah, this sucks. Braces suck.
If
I
someone
have to do Whole30 in January. That
that
sucks.
sucks. Someone, I just saw we have you and I have a mutual friend who's had a pretty significant loss in her life, and she just posted about how, these, right now the days are short, the nights are long, and it's tough.
Yeah.
And she said sometimes the silence is really loud. And
Yeah.
so, again, I don't want to shine a spotlight on something I did, but something anybody could do. I just sent her a message. I said, "Hey, if the silence gets too loud this week, FaceTime me.
Yeah.
Let's play a game. Let's both watch the same Christmas movie at the same time while we're
Yeah.
on, just if the quiet gets too loud." And then again, back into my world again. I've had some kids that have gotten cast in some really nice parts in the last few weeks because this is High School Musical season, but I've gotten some that haven't.
Yeah.
And they come in and I'm like, you know what? It sucks that you didn't get the part that she wanted. So we're just going to sit and let it suck. And then when it hurts a little less, and we'll
Yep.
pick up and move on. So
Yeah.
yeah, there's a lot to be said. And you're so good at that too, Moe, holding space with people. Just sitting with somebody exactly where they are, not trying to tell them it's going to be okay. It's not okay for a while. And
Yeah.
that's
And
okay.
that's okay.
Exactly.
Yeah. I don't know. I love the full stop, the concept. I mean, and I think we've always done it. We've always recognized it. We just didn't have a name for it. So
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I think SHUAC was like, this is what's happening in a full stop moment where you're seeing someone,
Yeah.
hearing someone,
Yeah.
understanding someone, appreciating, connecting with somebody. But we didn't have a name for it, and that is the full stop. So I
Yeah.
have to tell you about something that full stopped me today.
Okay. Good.
So my friend Mads and I've known her for years. We played soccer together. We sang together. Um, just good friends. And she lives in Florida, but she's up in town right now. And so I was able to have lunch with her, and so we had a late lunch. And so we just went to a place, and it was just her and I. Our spouses stayed home, not because they didn't want to hang out, but it was just nice to have. Sometimes it's nice to have one-on-one time. So
Yeah.
it just worked out that way. So we're there, and I was dehydrated because it was late in the day. I hadn't been drinking water, and because I was driving so much, I'm like, I don't want to be overhydrated when I'm driving because then you have to pee. It's a biology thing, but that's not what this podcast is about. So I had these nice, pretty, I had a nice tall glass of water, and the lady the bartender just kept, not the bartender, the waitress just kept coming and filling it. They had these like IKEA bottles and the little pop top like we have them, and she just would pour water, and I just was getting to the point where I'm just like, yep, fill it up, and she kept coming over, and I'm like, I feel like, and what I said was, I feel like I'm auditioning to be a camel in a nativity scene or something, but I was just drinking.
That's very specific.
Well, camels, that's how they hump? I don't know. No, that's different. Hump is a noun, not a verb. Don't make
It's
it
not.
dirty.
It's also a noun.
I know, but
Sally, the camel has
my
five
dear.
humps.
So then, yeah, so I'm just like, I don't know why I was so parched, and then she brought up another glass, and I took a swig, and I'm like, and I felt so bad. I had an empty beer glass, and I spit the water out into the glass. My mouth was on fire. It tasted like, I haven't drank a lot of diesel or jet fuel, but it tasted like jet fuel.
Oh
It
my gosh.
it burned. I'm like, especially when you're expecting water, and it was clear, and I'm like, what the hell? So I sniffed it, and it smelled like fryer grease, like bacon.
Ew.
And I go, don't try this, but I said, can you smell it? And I mean, I knew something was wrong. And Mad smelled it and she's like, yeah, that's not good. And usually I won't say anything. I'm just, but Mads was like, she goes, you have to say something because they poured it from if they serve it to anybody else. I'm like, yeah, it was my, and then I tried to sniff it again. And then I was like, it was almost like retching, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we called the waitress over, like, hey, I don't know what I don't know what you filled that bottle up with or where you filled it,
Oh my
but
God.
stop using that source. And she goes, what? And I said, here, smell this. I'm like, don't taste it, but smell it. She's like, I said, it smells like bacon grease. That's what it smelled like. And I'm looking at it and it's perfectly clear. I'm comparing it to Mad's water and they look the same. I felt like I drank diesel. So she goes over to the bartender where all the bottles of water were, and she goes, and then I hear this. Well, why do you keep it next to the water? And why do we have it in the same bottle?
Oh no.
Yeah, it was bacon infused vodka.
Oh my
And
God.
I chugged it. And I'm like,
I'm thinking, okay, if it was grease, then it wouldn't have looked like water. That's
yeah,
crazy.
so it was their own bacon infused vodka, which is a thing. I get it, but that's not
Yeah,
what I
but we were
ordered.
expecting it.
Well, right, but so then she takes the glass. She goes, "I'm so sorry," and she walks away. I'm like, "Well, hey, hang on. You
Hold
are walking with a glass of vodka. Just give me some like tomato juice or something. I'll have a Bloody Mary or something." But then she brings it back, and I said, so she brings the glass back, and I take a sniff because now that I know it's bacon infused
Yeah.
vodka, I can't. It is. I don't know that I can drink vodka anymore. I don't know that I can
Oh
drink
my
bacon or eat bacon anymore. So she's like, I'm so sorry. I'll bring you some tomato juice. I'm like, no, I can't. I can't. I
Oh my
can't even
gosh.
do it. But yeah, so
That's crazy.
I have never spit out a drink like that before.
I
I
think the story would have been better only if you did like a complete spit take, like across the table.
Yeah, I didn't know
I mean,
because they
I've
had
never
they had open flames there. I didn't want to light somebody on fire. It was
that would have been
bad.
awesome too.
It's like, oh my, and
That's
yeah,
crazy.
it was the most, and I couldn't place it as vodka. There were so many things that were throwing me. Like I was
Yeah.
expecting water.
Yeah.
I certainly wasn't, even if I think if I drank and it was vodka, I probably would have understood the burn, but the
Yeah.
bacon part just threw me. I was like, what? Oh my God.
That's like even when you're expecting it to be Sprite and it's water or vice versa. But but
Yeah.
for it to
Yeah,
be,
it's exactly the same as that.
hey.
So yeah, that was my yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
spit take would have been good on that.
Yeah, except they had open flames, so I just didn't think spitting jet. I mean, the first thing I thought was this is jet fuel. Now,
So
I'm
bad.
not saying that's a rational thought to have in a restaurant when you're having lunch with a friend, but yeah, so that was however, I started writing a blog on this because I was thinking about it on the drive home when I was not as hydrated because I spit out jet fuel at the table,
Oh
but
my gosh.
I was thinking about the whole like Pavlovian, she would fill my and trust. There was a big trust issue that
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
violated. But like
We'll never start chugging water in a restaurant again.
yeah, well, I might start drinking this is why people drink bottled water, and this is why people bring their own stuff. So anyway, but I was just like, there
You
was
were
like
like
this.
bacon roofied.
Yeah, exactly. I got bacon grease roofied, but yeah. So that was the story I wanted to tell you.
Which is a shame because I feel like in the right setting you would have enjoyed bacon infused vodka. I mean, I think that could
Yeah,
have been
there is no situation in the near future where I will enjoy bacon infused, but I don't. Yeah,
so much for that.
yeah. So anyway, on that,
I have
I'm
no
gonna
stories about
write a
that.
blog about the violation of trust between waitress and customer. Or
That's right. Oh, that's funny. And the whole like, why do you keep it right next to the water?
well, I took a picture of it too. So
That's funny.
yeah, it was the exact same bottle, and one just had masking tape, but the masking tape was on this side, and she had grabbed the bottle
Oh
like
my
this, and
gosh.
so. But Mads even said she goes when she was pouring it, it didn't pour the same way as water,
It's like
like
viscous,
like
like more
the viscosity and stuff, but it
viscosity.
looked exactly the same.
Huh.
Anyway, so
Good to know.
sniff your water before you drink it. If you're a waitress, don't violate trust.
True.
And if you are making vodka, make it colored. I mean, if you're gonna infuse it with bacon, maybe a little like giblets, just like little bacon giblets.
Ew. Little bacon garnish on the side of the glass.
Yeah, it was bad.
Little
Oh my
bacon
God.
right there. Can you still taste can you still taste it like when
My tongue still burns, but I think it's a psychological thing. My tongue
crazy?
still is a little numb. But I will say I did pour the rest of that glass into my fuel tank, and I was able to get home just eco-friendly.
Perfect.
Except I have an electric car that doesn't have a gas
I
tank.
was gonna say.
That story kind of
And
falls
it
apart.
still worked.
So, anyway,
It still worked. Yeah, what happens when you put your car in pork?
nice, nice.
We'll take that. And on that note,
Yeah, I'm just gonna grease the skids and head on out. That was good. All right.
all right.
On that terrible pun. That
Well,
was
happy
really well played.
holidays to all of our wonderful friends out there. And as you are, I don't know, I think a lot of people are going to be out of routine here for the next couple weeks. So
Stop and sniff your water.
stop
Because
and
when
sip
you
your
get
water.
out of routine, that's when you chug bacon infused vodka.
This is why we can't have nice things.
Right.
But as you are going about your holiday stuff, take the time to make people feel schwacked. Take the time to make a full stop and notice things and notice people in ways that you maybe normally wouldn't.
Yep. And then don't forget to be the story that someone talks about over drinks later or bacon infused vodka.
Confused vodka.
Awesome.
All right, friends. Well, happy holidays.
Happy
We will
holidays.
see you soon.
Bye bye.
Bye.